All right, we're here with head coach for the men's basketball team, Jay Herkleman. How you doing, Jay?
Good, doing real good.
Two times in a row we've had you here, so I know it's a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the 2018 season so far. Kicking it off, you're 4-2 on the new year. Kind of take us through that, because I mean you were on a little bit of a hot streak before.
Yeah, we ended the first semester on a down note out at Colby. We were up 17 actually in the game, and I don't know if we checked out at that point for Christmas break or what. It's just they started playing well, and Colby is good. They're sitting right behind us in the conference. Mm-hmm. But we were playing well early, and then we let that one get away from us. Then we went on the Christmas break and come back and got the guys back into shape again, and started out with Garden City, and it wasn't a great home environment just because there was nobody, no students or anybody was there, but still, I mean, both teams are having to play, and we didn't shoot it well, which was disappointing. Garden City's solid, but I felt like if we would have shot the ball better, we could have won the game. Then we went to Butler the next game and scored 92 on the road. So it was kind of strange that we go on the road and shoot it so well and score so well. And won that game, come back home against Barton County, and Barton sitting in first place at the time, and we knew the importance of the game, and we were ready, and we guarded them well. But again, we didn't shoot the ball well. Except for Casey Benton. He was the only one in the game that was hitting anything. Mm-hmm. I mean, none of our guards, I don't remember what the stats were, but it was awful from the three-point line, like maybe 18%. Free throws, which we've been normally good at, weren't good. Or just 2-point, it was everything. And so we lose that, but then we go the next game over to Cowley and play well again offensively and score 86 and beat them by 26 points, 86-60.
Another good team, too.
Another good team. Yeah, they've struggled a little bit lately, but at that time they were tied with us in second or third place and playing well. And then the other night with Indy, just that rival game, and both teams know each other so well. It was hard to score. You had to have some toughness. You had to have some discipline. Both teams struggled in the first half, and we got it going a little bit in the second half late to pull away a little bit for a nice win. Well,
I don't want to get too much on the Independence game with how I'm going to say this, but I think in the first half of Independence's points came from the free throw line. And, it was a low-scoring game. What was it, 24, 22, 24, 23?
It was really low scoring in the first half. We had a number of guys in foul trouble, and we were keeping it close, which I was okay with, those guys being on the bench. We played some lineups that were different for us.
Zed came up.
Zedrick Lee came in. Wow. We had Josh Hill playing the 3 for us. We had some different lineups going on in there, and just trying to hang in there till the second half. And the way the game was being officiated, I wasn't comfortable putting Casey back in or Anthony Jones back in. They both had 2. I put Quan back in, thought he could play a little bit. He picked up his 3rd. Yeah. So it was just one of those games where I was okay with it being close, even though they had the lead, because I felt like getting those guys back in the second half, we could be okay.
Right. What in a game like that, what do you tell the guys in the locker room during halftime?
I said 3 things. Quit fouling, quit turning the ball over, and make our free throws. Because at one point we missed 5 straight free throws in the first half. We were fouling way too much. And some of that, it's how the game's being officiated, but you have to adjust. And I think in the officials' minds, one of the officials had the game up at Indy, knew that it got kind of chaotic, and it wasn't the players on the floor, but the stuff that happened in the stands, and wanted to keep control of it. And then Rodney Dickens, who is a women's official, ended up officiating our game also, because one of the officials had car problems from Springfield, Missouri, and couldn't get here. And then the other guy's a young guy. And so it wasn't the strongest crew that we could have. Corey Stiles is a good official, but Rodney, he's a good women's official, but he hadn't done guys' games in a while, and that's tough. Yeah. Going from the women's game to doing our game one, physically it's tough, and then two, just the speed and athleticism of the game and being able to make that adjustment. So,
and that was his second game of the night too.
Yeah,
he went back to back.
Right, back to back. And Rodney's from Sedan, and I know Rodney, and I mean he's not getting any younger.
Right.
I think he's up over 60. So, it was that's the way the game was being officiated, but we had to adjust and quit fouling. And first half we had too many turnovers. We had 10. And then we didn't make our free throws. So that was kind of the message at halftime, because we were guarding well, but we needed to do those things. And we did a better job second half with the turnovers. We only had 5. Made free throws down the stretch, and Casey and Anthony and some of those other guys didn't. They were on the floor a lot more for us.
I mean, we talk about Casey and Anthony, and kind of a little blurb about Anthony real quick. I mean, last 4 games, Barton 6 points, 4 rebounds, 2 steals. Callie 19 points, 8 rebounds, 3 for 5 from the 3-point line. Allen 20 points, 6 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block, and went 4 for 10 from the 3-point line. And then in this last game, Indy 18 points, 5 rebounds, and goes 3 for 6 from the 3-point line.
Yeah,
he's kind of coming to his own the past 4 games. What can you tell us about him?
He's putting a lot of time in the gym on his own, outside practice. He and Cedric, Roland, and Josh Hill spend as much time in the gym on their game as anybody on our team, and it's starting to show. Cedric, Roland's playing well. Josh doesn't score a lot for us, but just has that work ethic. Like Saturday morning after our practice that we had Saturday, we got after it pretty good Saturday morning for about an hour. And then I'm sitting there, a couple guys are shooting, and I look over and somebody's over lifting weights over in the corner. And I look over, and Josh was over there lifting weights. And, he's just got a good work ethic. And but those guys put the time in. And Anthony was making those comments to some people after the game that he's earning what he's getting, because he's putting the time in. He's playing with a lot of confidence now. He hit a big shot late in the second half.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's because of the work ethic he's had lately.
Well, and first of all, of everybody you got on your team, if one guy had to miss weights, Josh would probably be the most fine with it. So the fact that he's doing extra weights, because he's built like a linebacker.
Yeah.
And for him, and especially at the end of the Indy game, you mentioned the foul trouble and everything, but I thought I was sitting baseline for about the last 5 or 7 minutes or so, and he had some pretty big rebounds, and Cedric's done a really good job, I think, in some key rebounds too. But the hedging on screens and just being, and Josh was always, I think they called a few fouls just because the big man would hedge and wouldn't be. I think both teams wouldn't slide their feet, but he never got that foul call because he was always in position ahead of time and where he needed to be. And it was just kind of, there were people kind of watching. I was like, there's just one guy you don't have to worry about making a whole lot of mental mistakes. And that's got to be nice.
He's by far, hands down, our best on-ball defender for the forwards. But there's so many ball screens in the game today, and Josh can defend that, move his feet well enough, hedge a guy high where it disrupts their offense without fouling. He's just got that mentality. He's got the footwork. He's got the toughness. Yeah, and the way he's been rebounding lately. In the Allen County game, he has 11 rebounds. 7 of them are offensive rebounds. The other night, he had 10 rebounds again against Indy, who is long and athletic. But he's just he's tough. He's a tough kid and wants to be on the floor and figured out. It's not all about scoring. If you can defend and rebound, you're going to find a lot of time.
And that's one thing that Matt Jordan from KGGF Radio, we were talking at halftime. If you don't score a lot of points, you got to be doing something productive and not have Herc yell at you. So, Josh is, like you said, he's putting his time. He's getting
well, when we got in foul trouble there, all of a sudden I got him guarding their point guard. And he's coming down. He's getting in a stance. He's guarding their point guard at the beginning of their offense. But he can do it. I got confidence that he's going to be able to do that. And he was struggling a little bit earlier in the year. He had a mentality like he thought he needed to score more, and he wasn't scoring. And it was affecting his game, and now he's kind of gotten away from that. And, he'll score a little bit for us, but the other things he does is so valuable to the team.
More like a little modern day Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
Minus the head case.
Yeah. Josh is a
Really
great
complete
kid.
package.
Yeah.
Without the head case.
Yeah.
It pops out on film. Just watch. Yeah, you mentioned picking up the point guard. I think it was like late in the first half. It was just, and it wasn't like he was in a stance camping out on the free throw line. He was picking them up.
Right.
Like you want
Right.
people like 20, 30 feet. And again, I think he was your center for the last couple possessions of the game just because you wanted to go smaller.
Yeah, we wanted to switch all the ball screens.
Yeah,
so we had Marvin in there with TJ and Casey and Anthony, and he's able to switch the ball screens. Yeah.
And the other guy that, like I said, we wanted to talk about was Casey Benton. Barton, 19 points, 3 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Cali, 11 points, 4 rebounds, 2 steals. Allen County, 15 points, 4 rebounds. And this last game, Indy, 9 points, 1 rebound, and 1 steal. Again, he's a freshman coming on. Really seems strong in the second half, more than the first half.
Probably our most consistent player all year. I just love his toughness, love his attitude. I mean, he made the comment the other day when we were getting ready to play Allen County, and they have one guy that's their best scorer on the perimeter, and TJ was making the comment that he wanted to guard that guy. And so after we get done, we hand him the scout, and I said, TJ wants to guard, that guy. And Casey says, do you want to win or not, Coach? I mean, he always wants to guard the best perimeter player. And
Right.
not that TJ couldn't, but I love that mentality that Casey has. He wanted to guard Indy's best scorer. He wants to guard Allen's best scorer. He wants to know who those guys are, and he wants to guard them. And he does a great job doing it. But on the offensive end, he's just, he's pretty consistent for us. He scores from the three-point line. He scores off the dribble. Our most consistent player from the beginning to where we are now so far this year.
And he's extremely acrobatic or athletic, whichever adjective you want to use for him. Some of those, I think it was against Indy, pulls the ball out and then drives in it, and again, they're long and lanky, and he was able to, contortion his body and get to the basket.
He's just got those instincts to maneuver in the lane and get his shot off, and shoots a pretty good percentage when he's in there.
What's it like having a weapon like that with TJ and then Cedric starting to shoot well again, and Anthony? Like how?
Well, Ced's just I'm developing more and more confidence in him. He's getting more consistent. That's been my message to him about he can't, because he wants to be the main scorer, and the forwards, which I'm fine with, and he's good enough to be. But as I've told him a few times, I said if you want to be the guy, you got to be the guy all the time. It's not being the guy once in a while and being inconsistent or every other game. You got to be it every night.
Right.
And recently he has been. He's been getting double-doubles lately. Over at Butler, he had a really good game. He had 26 points, I think 7 or 8 rebounds. But at Cowley has a double-double. Against India has a double-double. It's starting to be more consistent there, which I really like that. So with him scoring in there and Casey, and now the way Anthony's scoring, and if we can get Marvin going back playing well again and get TJ back playing at a higher level, and the other guys still contributing the way they can, I like what we got.
And all these guys are coming on late, which is what you want. You don't want to have your hot streak in I guess November, December for basketball.
Yeah.
So
the season's so long, and there's going to be those spells where you just don't play well.
Right.
And Cowley's kind of going through it right now. They've lost now 4 in a row. As good as they were playing, they've lost 4 in a row. You see it at the D1 level. Wichita State, I thought they were going to go through that conference and possibly go undefeated, and they've lost 2 in a row. And KU, as good as they are, they've lost games at home this year, which is almost unheard of. It's so hard to be consistent. There's so many good teams out there. It's hard to be consistently good every single night and be on your game every single night. But that's the challenge. And we went through a little down period, and hopefully we're past that and going to keep getting better as the season goes on.
Yes, sir. And looking forward to this week, 2001, 2002. Your team is being inducted into the Red Raven Hall of Fame, and they'll be back here for the Hutch game.
Right.
What kind of emotions? What kind of thought process is going through your head? Are you excited to see them again? Or?
Very excited. Really excited. I've seen Griffin Walker's here in town. So I see Griff a lot, and I see Bird Antoine, who is the point guard. He's from New Orleans, because I go down to New Orleans recruiting, and he helps me out with guys. So it's been 2 years since I've seen him. See Zach Graber when we go over to Arc City to play Cali because he and his wife live there.
Okay.
But the other guys I haven't seen. And so I'm really looking forward to having Steve and Devin Smith back and Marvin Black and Cortez Sutton, who was redshirted that year but played the previous year. He's coming back and that with that group and some of the other guys. So it's going to be fun to have those guys back. My wife was pulling out some articles the other day. She found all the newspaper articles on that year's team, and the newspapers back then were, much more following things because it didn't have the social media as we have now. But from the region tournament, the national tournament, the media coverage was great for that team and just the pictures and stuff. So she was breaking those out the other day. We were looking at them. So we're going to have those on display this weekend too. And yeah, it's just going to be fun catching up. That was obviously a team that a lot of people in this community got attached to because of the success, but also because they were good guys. People enjoyed those people, enjoyed those guys, and they want to find out what they've been doing since. Devin Smith was the first team All-American guy on that team, and he went to Virginia, and he's played pro ball overseas up until this past year. He just finally retired. So, and a lot of those guys played. His brother Steve played overseas. Marvin Black did for a while. Tommy Eddy is still playing. My understanding, he's still playing, so he won't be back. But yeah, it's going to be great seeing those guys.
That's awesome. And then, again, going over the games, you have Dodge City on Wednesday and then Hutch on Saturday. What can we expect from those teams?
Well, the Dodge City one's a real challenge. One, they've recently gone in and beat Hutch at Hutch. So they're a capable team. Even though they're down near the bottom of the conference, they're a capable team. The game in between Indy and Hutch is Dodge City.
Right.
It's a 5-hour trip going out there on Wednesday. So those are the challenges ahead of us, and hopefully the guys will take on those challenges and stay focused for that game, play well in that game. We've been good on the road, so we need to go out there and play well, and then turn our attention to the Hutch game on Saturday.
So a little bit like Bill Belichick, one game at a time.
Yeah, I mean, there's too many. It's right. We're on Dodge City. Yeah,
definitely glad this didn't go like that.
It's just you can't look past anybody because there's too many good teams in the conference.
Right.
And just as I don't know what happened in the Dodge City Hutch game, but to go in and beat Hutch at Hutch. That's tough. I mean, we were the only one to do it last year, and Dodge City goes in there and beats them. So obviously they're capable. So we're going to have to be on our game on Wednesday.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Well, Herc, thank you for coming down and spending some time with us, and look forward to getting into.
Yeah, it's going to be a great week, and really looking forward to it.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.